Good afternoon. First of all, thank you for inviting myself, along with Joey Barton, to speak here this afternoon. I'm sure in the next hour or so you'll find this very interesting and show the journey to the very top of a profession, and in this case professional football can be far from plain sailing, but it shows that anybody, despite what's put in your way, in the road in front of you on your journey, can achieve these goals. As was in the introduction, Joey's now first team coach at Fleetwood Town, so we'll start very, very briefly by just having a little chat about that, and then we'll go on to chronologically Joey's career, ending with questions by yourself. So the mic will go over to yourself for the most entertaining part of the afternoon. So first of all, you've been on the Foul Coast for a few months now. How have you found it?
Firstly, good afternoon to everybody. It's nice to see so many young faces out and about. Certainly this time of the year when it's a lot easier to do many other things than sit and listen to an aged footballer ramble on. So great to see you out. It's great to be on the File Coast, albeit I'm very, very new to the area. I didn't even know, I've driven past the school about 40 times and didn't know it was here. Slightly different to the school I went to in terms of lots of your facilities in the buildings, but also, you know, young people are young people. So there's a great responsibility on a young person to make something of themselves in the world, and looking at everything that you have available to you here in terms of facilities, and also meeting some of the teachers and speak to them. Clearly, this is a part of certainly the Fleetwood area and the Clevelands and Thornton area that should be embraced, and it's great to see a football club working in conjunction on many different things. And also it'd be great to see some news down at Fleetwood, and maybe we can cross-pollinate ideas and make sure that this area continues to prosper. So you actually asked me about File Coast there, didn't you?
Yeah, you said you joined.
I tend not to answer any Will's questions. When he asks me questions, I tend not to answer them. I tend to just go on the ramble a little bit. But yeah, it's a great part of the world. Certainly, knowing how you've got one area of Fleetwood and use much experience, this was sort of, I think, is it a headmaster? Is it classed the headmaster? The headmaster before, about how you can have a certain area not so far in terms of the distance to here, and then obviously the school plonked in the middle of an area that is probably socially, economically a little bit behind certainly this facility. And I think as a football club, you know, Fleetwood Town have put Fleetwood, the town, back on the map. Obviously it's known a lot for the fishing industry, and historically it's been known as a place that has had, you know, issues in terms of cod wars, so on and so forth, and it's impacted the town. But the honour of our football club has made a huge contribution towards strengthening the team on and off the pitch in terms of training facility and obviously certain elements of the stadium. And that has given certainly the people I have interacted with, and I know some of you will have attended games, but it's given them a real pride in their town. You know, to see Fleetwood doing well is important to them, and the town owns, I think, 27,000 or so people, which is, well, some teams we play in our league have capacity stadiums of 40,000, so it is a little bit of a David v Goliath, but Fleetwood, the town, and Fleetwood Football Club are showing that in the face of those odds being slightly against them, that they can push forward and give a real positive image of the area. So it's enjoyable. We've got work to do. You know, I'm here to hopefully help the club get to the next level, which is the division above the one that we're currently in. And if I can attach some real pride and performance to the people in this area, obviously yourselves included by your students, then I'll have done the job properly.
So right back to the start, you started at Everton at the age of 8, and you've been quoted as saying when you were a young child, literally being a professional footballer was everything you ever wanted, everything you ever thought about, and basically the only thing you ever dreamt of doing.
I didn't have many options in terms of, you know, I didn't plan for anything other than playing professional football. So it's kind of unique in that regard, and we're kind of fortunate in that regard, in that I managed to do that. But I just had a real strong mindset. I was hell-bent on forging a career for myself as a footballer, to the point where I didn't listen to anybody else. And if you take anything out of this chat this evening, it is that you have to trust yourself, because you have friends, you have family, but obviously you have that internal mechanism, that internal drive that tells you that you can and can't do something. For me, many experts, many people in positions of authority, positions of power, told me I couldn't achieve something, but all that did at every gateway was empower me to prove them wrong, to prove to myself, and prove myself right ultimately. It's also a double-edged sword in terms of it got me in an awful lot of trouble, because when you're as headstrong and when you're as focused as what I can become, then it can overstep the mark from time to time. So learning to utilise, learning to deal with that kind of mentality was a massive factor in my growth and progression as firstly a human being, and then obviously a professional footballer off the back of that. And it's not easy. I mean, you're all going to go on. I don't know what you're into individually, but I presume there's a wide variance of jobs and professions that you all want to go into in the future. And the one common thing that every professional, everybody who achieves anything at any level will tell you is that there's going to be some difficulty ahead. You know, there's going to be some adversity in your futures, and it's the way you handle those setbacks, it's the way you handle those obstacles which you must overcome, that will ultimately be the definition of you as a person. For me, I was told it was too small at 14. I was in Everton's Academy from 8 till 14. At 14, they told me I was too small, which is difficult to work with. If somebody tells you you're not good enough, or you're not strong enough, or you're not a certain kind of player, then you can adjust and work with it. When someone tells you you're too small, it's quite difficult to make yourself grow. So I remember going home, certainly when I was told I was too small, for the first couple of days, I used to just go to bed and just say over and over to myself, like, please grow, please grow. And that is incredibly difficult. After a couple of days, I had the realisation of the world doesn't owe you anything. You've got no divine right to be anything. You have to go out and forge your way into anything of any note. So quickly stopped feeling sorry for myself and started to move forwards, and that became a mantra that I used all throughout my career. Obviously, a number of setbacks, and also in positive times that I would keep setting goals, different goals. You know, firstly, I wanted to be a professional footballer. I made my debut at 18. Then I wanted to be a fixture in the first team. By the age of 19, I was starting every week. Then I wanted to play for my country at junior level. I was capped at 20, in 21s. Then I wanted to get a senior cap, 23 again, senior cap. So for me, anything I dreamt about doing at the age of 4, 5, 6, I'd achieved by the time I was 24. That included, you know, all the finance, all the trappings, you know, that go with being a successful footballer. And then I really lost my way. I lost my purpose, I lost my drive. Didn't really have a direction in which I wanted to go in my life. Although I had everything materialistically that people would deem as being successful, I just was left with a hole because I'd achieved everything I dreamt about achieving. And it took a couple of things when I ended up going to prison, getting in fights, getting altercations, to realign me to what my purpose is. It took me about a 3 or 4 year period of striving to what I'm doing now that I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve. It took me a period of adjustment. wasn't easy. There was a lot of adversity, a lot of setbacks within that. And then I realised myself again. I mean, I'm very, very fortunate. I sit in front of you today as a 36-year-old man who's lived everything he dreamt about living, experienced everything he wants to experience as a youngster, and has now got the opportunity as a coach to live my second dream, which is to be an elite level coach, an elite level operator in my now second profession.
You talk about the difficulties. You're certainly not the only footballer to come across this, but you go from an 18-year-old who's earning £72 a week as a YTS to all of a sudden being in Manchester City's first team. With that comes fame, fortune, attention, media spotlight. All that from a Liverpool council estate must have been ridiculously difficult to deal with. I mean, how did you deal with it? Did you deal with it?
I don't think you can. I think you just have to live it. A lot of you sitting here today probably come from many different backgrounds. But for me, I never wanted to be famous. I never did what I did to be famous or infamous, depending on which way you look at it. I did what I did because I loved it. All I ever wanted to be was a footballer. If football would have been, if I'd have been paid £300 a week or £500 a week for the rest of my career, I'd have taken it. I was just fortunate that I came into football when TV revenue from all over the globe started to head in an upwards direction. It became almost like a golden age to be a footballer. You know, born in 1982. In 1992, the old First Division, bodies too young to remember that, became the Premier League. Premier League started to grow into now what it is, which is this global franchise where everybody from all far-flung reaches of the planet tune into our games on a weekend, and that saw a drive in the revenue that was generated by the game, and obviously the players took a proportion of that, but I never ever wanted that, and that's probably the thing that got me through. I see a lot of kids now who want to be footballers for everything that comes with being a footballer, whether it be fame, money, whatever it is, and I don't think that gets you through the adversity, because everybody in every walk of life will have adversity at times, and the thing that got me through it was that I loved what I was doing. So because I had that internal drive, whether I was going to play in the non-league, whether I was going to play on a Sunday with my friends after a few beers in the local pub, or in the Premier League, I loved football, I loved what I was doing. So whether that's any of you, if you collect stamps, now the world that we live in, if you love collecting stamps, you can actually turn it into a profession. You can turn it, because everybody's connected by the internet, by all these technological mediums that we have to connect people in the world. If you find something that you love doing, you can turn it into a career, you can turn it into a profession, and there's nothing better, I don't feel, and I'm only speaking from my own experience here, than spending your life doing things that you love. And I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do that. Obviously, you know, you get fat, you get grey, you get old, and you can't run around on a football pitch anymore, or you get banned, in my case, and you have to adjust. And the next adjustment for me, I always knew it was coming, because I love doing what I'm doing. I was going to be coaching and management, because I always felt, for all the trials and tribulations that I went through, I'd be in a great position to be able to pass on my experience and my obsession and my love for the game I've dedicated my life to.
So you rise up in football ranks, and in February 2007 you actually reached virtually the top of the best accolades you can get, I suppose, if you're a young footballer. You got called up for the England squad. You made your debut for England against Spain. What do you remember of that?
I just remember, I never knew I could play at international level, so you're always testing yourself. So I always remember Steve Blackett, who were working with psychologists, talking about how you become the best in the world and something. So the route map for a footballer would be, you start playing football, and then if you've got brothers or sisters, you become the best footballer in your family, and then if there's kids playing football in the street, I'm not sure many of you will play football in the street. When we were kids, you used to just get launched out in the street and play football until it was dark, and your mum would shout from the doorstep to say, get in and do your homework, go to school. And then you become the best footballer in your street, and then you'll sign for a local team. Hopefully you become the best footballer in your local team. Then you might get sacked, play for the school team, and then you play in the region, become the best in the region. And then you get signed by your club, you hope to become the best in the club, and you get selected by your country, you want to be the best in the country. And then you could be the best in Europe, the best in the world. So there's about 8 to 9 steps to become the best in the world. And I never thought about it like that, because I always thought, I'm going to go and try and be me, and then try and be the best in the world. And that is a huge jump. It's a huge jump, and most people who attempt it clearly will come up short, and will lose confidence, and will be very, very fearful about setting such a high goal again. And what I was able to do was break it down into very, very small, attainable goals. So I just wanted to be the best in my street, and the best in my local club, and the best in my school, and the best in the Northwest. And I just progressively attained these goals over an 18-year period to become a full international. And I never got to be the best player in the world, clearly. But in terms of what I was offered in terms of genetic gifts, I'm a player who's managed to get an awful lot out of not an awful lot. Wasn't the biggest. I'm 5'10". This player's 6'4", 6'5". Not 70 kilo, but 75 kilo, probably about 85 kilo now. But when I played, I was like 75 kilo, and there'd be lads walking around 80, 90, 100 kilo. So I'm not overly big, I'm not quick, I'm not overly strong, I'm not technically gifted. There's loads of things that I'm not. But I managed to have a 15-year career playing at the highest level, representing the country and playing for some fantastic clubs, because I believed in myself, and I believed in dedicating myself to what I was doing, at the sacrifice of many, many things that I wanted to do. That my friends were doing, we were all having good fun, having a good time. I used to think, I can't do that if I want to go on and be a Premier League player. So I can't go out drinking, I can't go out, I can't smoke, I can't do all the things that kids get up to if I want to play in the Premier League. And I was prepared to sacrifice it. I ultimately think 2 things got me where I wanted to be. First one is I loved what I was doing. The second thing is I was prepared to sacrifice everything. That was the biggest goal in my life, and I was prepared. Everything else came secondary to it. So friends, socialising, partying, everything became secondary to me becoming a player. And the message you use is, if you want something, you're in a great spot where you are. You've got facilities, you've got teachers, you've probably got parents, siblings, etc., driving you on. You can be anything you want to be in the world. Like, the world is turned around now. These old gatekeepers, and certain people can come. I mean, you probably can't be members of the royal family. Some things may well be able to, but like certain things like kings, queens, you probably can't be there. There's certain things that you can't be, but most things are attainable. If you want to be the best in the world, it's something that's very, very easily attainable. You don't have to work hard at it, because anything worth having in life is very, very difficult to get. I was talking to the kids in Fleetwood High School this afternoon. Statistically, you're more likely to be hit by a meteorite than you are to become a Premier League footballer. Just let that sink in. There's more people hit by meteorites than become Premier League footballers. So it's a difficult profession. The path that I chose to take is very, very difficult, because there's millions of kids all over the globe right now want to play in the Premier League because the most money's here. Everybody's got eyeballs on the Premier League. And yet, I'm a kid from a councillor's estate whose dad was an UFA, who never had an unbelievable genetic skill set, and I managed to forge a career out there through love and discipline.
Do you think there's such thing as, people talk about natural ability and he was born to be a Premier League footballer? Is there such a thing about, or is it always down to hard work, dedication, or Cristiano Ronaldo, are they born with it, or even have they got that ability to work hard as well?
No, there is genuinely, my life path to this point, there is people out there who are geniuses. And They're seldom, they're out there, but they're in a real minority. There's some people out there who are genuinely just mega talented. And then there's the rest of us. Now, you might be mega talented. If you are, happy days, well, got the people in the lottery. If you're not, get ready to work hard, get ready to go through adversity, get ready to struggle, and you know, life doesn't owe you anything. You have to go out and get and take whatever you can. You have to work incredibly hard. Most of us, and I'm in that category. I'm in that category where I was like, I'm not a genius, I'm not mega talented, so I've got to wear my socks off. And that's why I've got where to go. I mean, for a lot of you guys, there will be probably some mega talented kids amongst us, you know, who have got great skill sets, who do find things a lot easier than the kids. And then there'll be a lot of us who are just going to have to flat out outwork everybody else. I'd love to give you some other way, I'd love to give you a quick fix, but there isn't one out there. Either be a genius or get ready to work your balls off.
So you talk about making it to the top. You did make it to the top. You were playing for England. You got in the summer of 2007. You got a big money move to Newcastle United, £6 million or thereabouts. Newcastle paid for you, and then you got an injury very quickly into your time at Newcastle, and that triggered a series of events that ended up with you spending 78 days in jail. So you've gone from right at the very top to being sat behind a prison door. An incredible fall from grace, I suppose. What happened?
Life just happened. When you have a purpose and a goal and you strive towards it, everything's straightforward. Everything is very, very straightforward because you have something that's at the forefront of your mind and you just relentlessly march towards it. And then what happens is you achieve everything you want to achieve. So for me, coming from relatively low income family, I wanted to buy my mum and dad a house, I wanted to buy my nan and dad a house, I wanted to be financially set for the rest of my life. And I thought at that point, I'll be incredibly happy. So I signed for Newcastle. I go from having to work for money. I'm earning a lot of money, but having to work, you know, for money. Signed a 5-year deal where not only do I not have to work ever again, but my children probably don't have to work ever again if they don't want to. And the edge came off me. I lost the edge. The edge for me was constantly striving towards something. When you take a young kid, I'm 24 years of age, still got problems dealing with fame, dealing with the fact that people recognise me and know me before I've ever even spoken to them. And you take them out of it. I think I signed a 5-year deal on about 27 million guaranteed for 5 years. That's a lot of money. Obviously, you've got to pay tax on that. The government come and get the grips on it, so you obviously tax and national insurance, take a fair chunk out of that. But at that point, you know, my dad was on £300 to £500 a week as a kid, and he didn't own our own house, all the kind of things that go with it. At that point, I lost the edge, and I lost the edge for about 4 or 5 week period, but I didn't have the same drive because I was set for life. And then what happened was I just turned it again, broke my foot. I'd never been injured in my life, so I'm 24, I'd never been injured. I'd always had the strive for financial gain and love football, and playing for England, etc. And I kind of sat down when I got injured for the first time, broke a bone in my foot. I actually sat and stopped and analysed what had happened to me for the last 24 years. And I didn't like what was looking back. I'd never had the time to stop because things were just moving that quickly. Career, game after game after game after game. And I didn't ever have time to stop and look at what had gone on. And what happened to me was I just had a real void. I had everything materialistically. I had a big contract, big house, big recognised wherever I went. Getting any nightclubs, all the shenanigans that go into being famous. But I just had a void inside, and I really struggled with it. And in a perverse way, I thought a great idea to fill this void would be to start drinking. As mad as that sounds, so I start drinking, thinking, oh, this will take away. And to be fair, for a couple of months I did have a great time, but then I'd be out drinking and someone would say something to me, and getting where I got to from where I came from, I didn't really deal with people criticising me, certainly when I had a few drinks, particularly well. And the only way I knew how to deal with it was with fighting, because that was a huge part of why I achieved what I achieved, that I had this internal warrior that would fight anyone at any time. And in drink, that would come out quite a bit. It ultimately ended in an altercation in Liverpool City Centre, where I got in a fist fight, finished with me being locked up for Christmas and New Year in Walton Jail in Liverpool, which I'm telling you, when you go from 1 minute playing against Wigan in the Premier League to 24 hours later being in a prison with rapists, murderers, bank robbers, drug dealers, you have a huge reality check. And it was at that point I'm like, okay, we need to reassess where we're heading. We need to find a purpose. And I didn't find it instantly. It still took me 12 or 18 months to realign my goals. And that did include a 78-day stay in Strangeways Prison in Manchester, where I remember walking across the yard one afternoon when I first got in there, and I was greeted with, "We can't wait to run into your bar and we're going to slash you across the face." And I was like, how has it come to this? Well, I'm telling you that you meet all manner of people, and I don't know about yourselves, but you would imagine that the worst ever people are in prisons, and they're not. There's lots of bad people in prisons, but there's also lots of very, very normal people who've just made bad choices. People from this kind of school, people from Fleetwood High kind of school, people from the kind of school that I went to. If you don't work hard and you don't appreciate what you've got and you're not prepared to put stuff in, things in life don't always go to plan for you. So my message for you would be, take advantage of everything you've got here, because the world is full of possibilities for you all. So there's left a phone. Except for that person who's got his phone, the world is not full of possibilities. So the key thing is, don't take things for granted. Don't take school for granted, because this is a wonderful school. You've got great facilities. Don't take it for granted. Work incredibly hard. Enjoy these days, because when you get out and become in the real world, you have to earn money and pay bills and stuff like that. I constantly look back, and I always remember people coming back to my school, or adults saying to me, "You don't know you're born, enjoy school." I'm telling you, as an adult, 36-year-old, enjoy every moment of this, because these are school days, no matter what school you go to, where you're coming in every day and you're learning, and you're progressing, you're getting smarter, you're getting wiser, you're becoming more experienced in how you're going to deal with the world. These are fantastic days when you can be anything you want to be. You should really take advantage of that.
Following your release from prison, as is the theme of your life, really, you bounced back and you got back into the Premier League, signing for QPR, and you were actually involved in one of the most famous Premier League games in history, really. For anybody who remembers when Manchester City won the league on the final day, it was the 94th minute, Sergio Aguero scored a famous goal to win Manchester City the title for the first time in many years. You were involved in that game, but you didn't actually see that goal, did you? Because
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I was sent off, but I did see it. So again, I have this weird habit in life of everything I've ever done gets amplified. I got sent off in a game in the FA Cup for Manchester City. We were 3-0. I got sent off at half time for aggressively walking towards the referee. I think I'm the only man who's ever been sent off for aggressively walking towards the referee. And we were 3-0 down in the game. We came back and won it 4-3 in normal time. So it's constantly replayed on Sky. The other one that's constantly replayed on Sky is the Sergio Aguero. It's like probably the most iconic, or one of the most iconic moments in Premier League history. And I was sent off at 60 minutes for fighting with Carlos Tevez and then kneeing Aguero. And obviously that game was constantly replayed, so you've got to remember, I've got 3 kids. I've got a 5-month-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And the 6-year-old boy is really into football, but he has absolutely no idea that he knows his dad plays football, and he knows lots of people come up in the street and know his dad's name, but he's never seen the glory days when they used to play. So all he ever sees is these constant reminders on the Sky Sports of his dad getting sent off. He's like, Dad, why did you always get sent off? I'm like, I didn't, it's just the games that Sky happened to show up and they're really irrelevant. So yeah, I made a decision. I was never going to lie to the kids, and I'm not sure it was the wisest decision, because a kid in school told my lad I'd been in jail. So he came home and asked me why I'd been in prison. I'm telling you, don't go to prison, because at some point you'll have to explain to your kids why you went to prison. And it's not the most career-defining moment for me, but I thought I'm going to be truthful with them. I'm going to tell them the truth, I'm going to tell them the reasons why. So I explained to him, look, your dad, when he was younger, was a superhero, and there used to be people in city centres who were doing the best behaviour, and sometimes I have to take the law into my own hands to make sure that the police didn't get harmed, and I would beat them up so that the police didn't have to beat them up. So my son also thinks not only I'm a footballer, but I'm also a superhero.
So it wasn't all bad, by the way. You made nearly 400 career appearances, always in the top 2 divisions of England. And again, another theme is every time something negative happens, it kind of triggers something good in your life. And that standing off against Manchester City actually got you a 10-match ban, but as a result of that, 12 match ban, and as a result of that, you actually ended up with, I suppose, a move that you talk about as one of the best times in your career, when you ended up in the south of France playing for Marseille. How was that?
Well, yeah, it was the thing that nearly happened. Probably the reason I'm sitting here today. I got hit with a record ban, so if anyone ever remembers Ed Cantona jumping into the fans at Wimbledon, I think Cantona got a 3-month ban, but he was kind of outside of it. Then there was other players that taken big bans, and then he hit me with a record ban of 12 games. So I have a lot of accolades that probably aren't ones that you'd want to have on your Wikipedia page. I possess a few. British record ban is not my proudest moment, but I did come and train with Fleetwood at the time. Fleetwood had just been promoted from the conference to the Division 2 of the Football League. So I came and trained here for 2 weeks, and I was tempted. I was probably going to sign Fleetwood just to, I can't swear here, I like swearing quite a bit, I can't swear here. I was tempted to sign Fleetwood just to annoy everybody in the football world, because usually when people say I can or can't do something, I'd like to take the alternative position, or I used to like to take the alternative position. So when I was at Fleetwood, training with Fleetwood, Andy Pillar was the owner at the time. It's like, do you fancy playing for us? I was like, yeah, I'll play this season. I'm not going back to QPR, so I didn't like the manager, Mark Hughes, and we fell out. Our differences were not, they were irreconcilable. There was no way we were going to patch them up. But I was under a contract that meant I was not going to walk out on it. So I was about to sign for Fleetwood, and then I got a phone call saying, why did you not sign for Fleetwood? And you could sign for Marseille. Marseille won't take it on loan. So I lived with Marseille, probably the biggest club in France, and PSG. Have the Qatari money, but Marseille historically the biggest club, 14 million fans in France, and obviously a massive global historic football club. So I didn't get to spend as much time as I wanted to on the Fylde coast, but the compromise for that was I ended up in the south coast of France, playing for a phenomenal football club. And obviously, you know, as Englishmen, we very rarely get the chance to go and play abroad because of the financial powers of our football, of our league, certainly the top division. So to experience that, the kind of negativity of the ban and getting exiled from English football, but the upside of that was, you know, I got to spend a wonderful 9 months playing for a fantastic football club I'll have lifelong association with because of a moment of madness at the Etihad. And the weird thing about this is I constantly get Man United fans, because I played for City for 9 years. Manchester United fans come up to me all the time and say, you got sent off on purpose so Man City could win the league. I'm like, no, I didn't. And they're like, no, you did. So this conspiracy theory is spawned out of it. And then Manchester City fans come over and say, thanks for getting sent off, you really did that so City won the league. I'm like, no, I didn't. So I was genuinely like angry and wanted to take out a few players. It was nothing to do with anybody winning the league other than me seeking retribution for Tevez elbowed me across the face.
Anyway, following Marseille, quite a successful spell in your career. You returned to QPR at the start of the 2013-14 season. They were in the Championship at the time. You got promotion back to the Premier League before joining Burnley and enjoying similar succession. Again, got promoted to the Premier League with Burnley, which was a huge deal for Burnley at the time. They'd never played in the Premier League, and obviously they're still there to this day. And you went to Scotland and joined one of the biggest clubs in the world for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of months. And then I believe in what I believe in, and sometimes that upsets everybody else. And sometimes it doesn't go to plan. You know, I went off the back of Burnley where I worked in a great environment with great people. And we had very, very successful times. Nobody expected me to leave. And I decided that sometimes when you're at the top of your game, I think it's important to push your own boundaries. There's times when I maybe shouldn't have pushed it. Burnley to Rangers is probably one of those. Nothing to do with the organisations, more to do with the people within those. The Rangers are a fantastic football club, but it wasn't the right fit for me with the personnel that were in there. And sometimes when you make a mistake, you have to rectify it really quickly. I mean, I'm getting better at that. In terms of team selection, there's times I've made mistakes in team selection, and you've got two alternatives. You either hold your hands up, admit you've made a mistake, and get about changing the future, or you sit and you wait for your mistake to turn into a positive, and it usually gets 10 times worse or 100 times worse before it gets better. So I always think there's a level of responsibility with anybody, and if you have the opportunity to hold your hands up and admit you need help or admit you've made a mistake, then usually things start to get better. Certainly when I went from Burnley to Rangers, I made a few mistakes and then was able to go back. Most people go to Scotland and fail and never ever get seen again because you don't go from the SPL and then back to the English Premier League and be successful. But I was fortunate, and I had a strong enough mindset, enough people that believed in me, that I went from Burnley to Scotland, didn't really do well in Scotland for all manner of reasons, back to the Premier League and just hit the ground running again. I think that's more a testament, firstly to the people who believed in me, but also to a mindset. And the weirdest thing about it was everybody who had any who had the tuppence worth of opinion didn't think it was possible. Because most people don't know what you're capable of. It's only you who know whether you can or can't do something. And again, I'll paraphrase Blackie, Steve Black, because he's the best in terms of mindset that I've come across and worked with. And a lot of the things he says, you carry with you for the rest of your life. And he always says to me, if you believe you can, or you believe you can't, you'll be right. And I think if you take anything out of this, then you take that quote out of it, because if you want to be anything in life, if you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter whether anybody else believes in you, you can get there.
Another thing you believe in is continual improvement, don't you? The Kaizen philosophy that I'm sure you probably like to share with the students here today.
Again, it's putting elite level performance into bite-sized chunks, because like most people want to be world class or elite level at something, but it just seems a long way in the distance. It seems like it's only those people that are doing it that can achieve it, and that greatness or whatever that is not attainable for you. That's something that's for other selected people who are born or who are genetically or who are geniuses or whatever it is. But actually it's not, because there's lots of people who do lots of things that are at an elite level who are just normal, start off as normal people doing normal things and just have a dream or a goal or a passion and manage to achieve that. Kaizen for me, I only learned it relatively late 2008, and again it's from Blackie. It was, I think he stole it from Toyota, and it was about the continuous state of improvement. So he would talk about do compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Don't compare yourself to who somebody else is today. So I think you just have to stick with me on that. Do compare yourself to who you were yesterday. So if you can be a better version of you today and tomorrow and the day after, over a period of 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks or months or years, you will achieve things that you didn't think you were capable of doing just by this continuous state of improvement. Not trying to get massive improvement, just small incremental gains in your performance. If it's at reading or singing, dancing or fitness. If you're not fit, you can't become fit overnight. But what you can do is get a little bit fitter, a little bit stronger, a little bit fitter, a little bit stronger. Before you know it, over a 3, 6, 9 month period, you'll be so far ahead of where you started out. Instead of what a lot of people do, in my opinion, they decide they're going to get fit, and if they're not fit within the first week, they give up, and they just go, I can't get fit, I can't do that. Nobody can get fit in a week. Nobody can improve that quickly. Nobody, unless you're incredibly talented, and even then I still think the underpinning factor of all that, you read any of people who write about greatness, whether it's Matthew Syed writing Bounce, which I think is an incredible book for people your age to read, about how, he talks about the 10,000 hours of purposeful practice, making it world class at anything. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with that entirely, but certainly there's a lot of principles within his writing that point to elite level performance. What was I talking about there? I just went off on there. Kaizen. Kaizen basically is that. It breaks down elite level performance into attainable goals for all of us, because most people are capable of greatness. I can't play in the NBA because I'm not 7 foot, so the certain things that are ruled out. I can't do certain things because genetically there is certain constraints on certain, probably can't be a forward in rugby because it's just not big or strong enough. But on the whole, there's lots of things that you can be elite level at. And as I say, you have to find what your course is. It'll be something internally that's driving you. And if you find that, and you plug into this philosophy of just getting better, small incremental gains, utilised to drive you to where you want to be, also underpinned with an absolute dedication, with a disciplined focus, with a desire and a love ultimately of what you're doing. You can become the best at anything. You can become the best at anything you want to become. And the possibilities are endless, and you have to believe that. There's one takeout for you this afternoon. It's that you can attain anything you want to attain. That you can literally be whatever you want to be. Probably, at your age, you have many things that you want to do. You maybe don't have one goal in mind about what you want to achieve, and there's no pressure on that. Some people don't start on that pathway till they're in the 30s. But this is a great opportunity for you. So when I see you talk to some of the masters before about the sports that are available or the extracurricular activities that are available, try and anchor everything. You never ever know what you're getting into. You never ever know what you're getting into. So without preaching at this, because I imagine you get quite a bit of that from time to time, you must go out of this building believing you can be the best at whatever you want to be the best at and fulfill your potential.
I'm very conscious of the time that you're all dying to ask some questions, so just a couple more points that we'll move out to the floor. We have to talk about the thing that ultimately ended your playing career, and that was the gambling ban. The FA finally got their man after many attempts to ban you, and you ended up with an 18-month ban for gambling.
Yeah. Part of my course, I I had to sign up to the fact that I have many, many quirks, and most interesting people you meet in your life usually have very, very strange things about them. I think there's I mean, we've been working with a professor of psychology, not psychology, from Oxford University, a guy called Dr. Kevin Dutton. Feel free to look him up online. He's very, very talented in many, many things. And he talks about the link between elite level performers and psychopaths. And you've been very, very surprised to realise how closely aligned they are. Because you've got to be obsessive compulsive. If you're going to be brilliant at anything, you have to be obsessive compulsive. You can't just turn up for a few hours a day when you feel like turning up for a few hours a day and putting in the effort you feel like putting in. If you're going to be the best at it, if you're going to truly maximise your potential, you have to be dedicated. You have to have things in your life that maybe get out of kilter. So you can't be all things to all people. For me, I needed to embrace the dark side. I have a dark side to my personality, a side of my personality that is able to assassinate people on a football pitch. Like quite calculated, quite cruel, but would hurt people. Because that was the nature of my job. I had to hurt people. If I didn't, I wasn't talented enough, because there was thousands of kids more talented than me. And I had to make a decision whether I wanted to be friends with everybody or whether I wanted to be a professional footballer. And part of that was I had to take people out. That's just what I had to do. And I made a decision that if I wanted to play, then I had to put aside my sensitivity and put aside my empathy and my feelings for others, because it wasn't going to get me where I needed to go. And for yourselves, part of that quirkiness in me was I like to do things that were forbidden. So whether it be drink, whether it be gambling, kind of things that you could hide from people, was a way of me touching base with the kind of dark energy that lived inside me. But it's the same energy that drove me to be an elite level performer. And in the gambling ban, I just seen as, it's a strange one, very, very strange, because it wasn't like I was taking drugs or taking legal substances to enhance performance. It wasn't like I was betting on the outcomes of games I was directly involved in. But when you live your life as an outlaw, which I did in the eyes of the authorities, then you get outlaw punishments, record, ban for gambling. I don't hold that, there's been many slammed for years and years and years. But also, it's something that prematurely ended my playing career. But the silver cloud, or the silver lining to that cloud is I am now the youngest manager in Football League. So, yeah, I could have played for another 3 or 4 years. Well, I've probably stopped improving as a player. I was still getting small improvements, but I wasn't driving towards Champions League or international caps. So the offset for me was my random behaviour in terms of betting patterns got me banned, which forced me or challenged me to look for things and show me life after football. Life after football for me has led me into coaching, and I now have that purpose, that obsessive compulsiveness about being the best football manager I can possibly be. As a player, I constantly compare myself to others, and I go back to that quote I said to you before. You've got to compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who others are today. For me, I spent a lot of my playing career comparing myself to others. It's a wrong thing to do, because you never reach your potential. As a manager, it'd be easy to compare yourself to others. I try not to do that. I try to compare myself to who I was yesterday. And if I'm a better manager today than I was yesterday, over a period of time, it's impossible for me not to become elite level at that profession.
And of course that brings us to the present day, where the band led to a phone call from Andy Pilley, and here you are at Fleetwood Town. And just to let you all know, everybody who's in the room today, you'll be able to collect a ticket at the end where you'll be invited to our next home game, so you can come and watch and see if we can prove everybody wrong again. Now when everybody said you can't be a coach, you can't be a manager, well, there's a chance to come and watch and and see Fleetwood Town and Joey can prove everything wrong. I keep looking at
I've already proved everyone wrong because I'm already a coach and a manager. Just want a very good one.
There he goes, already done it. So I'll pass you over for the questions now because I'm conscious of the time, so thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Will. Thank you very much, Joey, for that. We'll give you a round of applause at the end of the... Once again, the deputy head of Rossall School shows the complete control he has on the school, but thank you for your spontaneous applause there. Okay, we've got some questions. We asked some of the people, well, we asked all of the people basically here to come up with some questions before tonight's event. So we're going to go through a few of those questions. We've got people with their question in the audience, and they're going to be meeting with this microphone and Mr. Pryor and ask their question to Joey and Will. Put your hands up if you, or stand up if you ask a question.
Do you feel that education can shape an athlete's view on professional sport?
So I missed the first bit. What did you say?
Do you feel education can shape an athlete's view on professional sport?
It's education.
Yeah. For me, yeah, hugely. I mean, I went to school, left school at GCSE level, to go YTS as a footballer, 16/17, so went straight into my chosen profession, obviously followed that along. When I was at QPR, I was about 27, 28, I talked to us about lacking that little bit of purpose and struggling for a bit of purpose, and I ended up going back. You get lots of random letters, so you get lots of fan mail, but also like random letters. Sometimes you get death threats, stuff like that in there, which occasionally happens amongst the mail. And I always remember a really good friend and a mentor of mine had passed away. About a week afterwards, I got a letter from a Dr. Raj Sehgal, who was Professor of Humanities at Roehampton University. And he was a QPR fan, I was playing for QPR at the time, and he invited me to go and sit in some lectures at the university because he'd seen me quote Nietzsche and a few other things on my Twitter feed. And he was like, you should come in and study and have a look at the lectures. So I ended up going after training, I'd go along and just sit in the classrooms, or not the classrooms, in the theatres and just listen to all manner of talks about all different things. At the end of a couple of weeks, he asked me, did I want to go and enroll and do a degree? I was like, oh, I haven't got time for that. So he showed me how it could be done, showed me how I could do it in the midst of being a Premier League footballer. And I went back into further education, and honestly, it's one of the most enjoyable times I've had. I only did a year. I think he said before I had a degree. I haven't got a degree, I've got the credits for the first year of the degree because I did the full year and I went back into education. And I absolutely adored it because you come in every day and there's a real growth mindset and you learn. And everybody around you, so everybody in this building now is trying to get better. Everybody's trying to learn and pass tests to get qualifications to go on and do what they want to do in their lives. And in football, that isn't always the way. When you come through in an academy, you want to learn and you want to get better, and you get in the first team, and then you're just trying to survive. Because if you don't play well on a Saturday and you're playing for a Premier League club, and that happens for a couple of weeks, they're then looking at somebody from Brazil who prepared to pay 20, 30 million pounds for, or somebody from Chile or Australia. I know there's many different nationalities in this school, but all of a sudden you're in a global marketplace where the emphasis is on survival, not further education. You don't really have time in the Premier League to take time to grow or to delve into certain things. You have to be doing it right now. So to get back into university for me was eye-opening because I'd go in a theatre or lecture with lots of people who have a growth mindset, and it made me really open my eyes in terms of it just gave me something away from football because I didn't have the result mattered, but it wasn't the end of the world because I could go into the classroom or I could go into a tour and I could forget about the pressures of football for an hour or whatever it was, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I would openly encourage players that we've got to broaden their horizons in terms of education. We're thinking about doing some things at Fleetwood. I know we're in the early part of it where we have external people come in and lecture, something like this. But I'd love to stimulate the environment, because I think it's important to have people realise that there's more to life than just your chosen sport. There's more to it. And also that if you're aware of other things and you're furthering in education, it actually helps you when you go down your discipline, when you go into your obsessive compulsive part of your behaviour, when you want to become elite level performers.
Apart from running the first team, what elements of being a coach would be most enjoyable or most difficult?
The nicest thing is you tell someone to do it, and you usually do it. Not always. It's quite nice. So I imagine your teachers do that for you guys. But no, just seeing people develop. The biggest takeout for me is everybody just needs love. So a lot of people lack confidence, and if you love them, and I mean, I'm not being hugging like kind of OTT, love, but really deeply care about them, and you actually genuinely want them to improve, and you want them to get better. Everybody tends to respond to that. What I'm finding with a lot of our players is they actually respond really well to a kick up the backside rather than words of encouragement, which is perverse, because I think you'd get much more out of me if you were really nice to me. But not everybody's like that, so the skill of management is knowing which players need a bit of criticism or constructive criticism, and which players need building up a bit of confidence, a bit of praise. And that's the one thing that take out. I mean, look, I've played football since I can remember, since I was consciously aware. All I've ever wanted to do is be a footballer. And then afterwards, I spent time at great clubs with great managers and great players, but nothing prepares you for being the lead in a football club. Nothing. I've been on coaching badges, coaching seminars, where every book you can imagine, from the All Blacks to NFL teams. Nothing prepares you for when you do it yourself. So you just have to trust yourself, trust your instinct. I believe I've done a lot of hard work. I know I've got lots of hard work to do, and I've got lots of learning to do. And I just think if you maintain a growth mindset, and the growth mindset being, I don't know the answers for everything. If I don't know them, I'll say, look, I don't know that. But what I will do is I'll work really, really hard to find out. And I'll exhaust myself trying to get the right outcome. And if you have that growth mindset, you achieve things. It's when you think you know everything, when you think you know best, that's when I've been at the worst. So in a football club, I just want to try and stimulate people all around me to have a growth mindset.
I think we've got time for just one more, and we'll come back.
Megan?
Out of all the managers that you've been in contact with, who was the best and why?
For me, Sean Dyche, really, because I've got to a stage of my career where I wasn't wild. So when I was younger, I was a little bit wild, a little bit reckless, a little bit headstrong, a little bit, as most young people are. You think you know everything, but you actually, as you get older, you just realise that you actually didn't know anything when you were younger. And I think that just continues. I'll probably think I know everything now. I'll get to 40 and I'll realise I actually knew nothing when I was 30, 35, 36. So you just have a constant cycle of that. You know, the more enlightened you become, you realise how stupid you were in the past, or how little you knew in the past. So with Sean Dyche, I just reached a great junction in my life. I was 30, 31. He was a manager who was very, very straight down the line with me. We got off on a good footing in terms of we had real mutual respect for each other, albeit we never met before we worked there. We had a great working relationship in which we could be honest with each other at times, sometimes too honest, and we just fit. You know, sometimes life is, you can be brilliant at things, you can be unbelievably talented, and sometimes you just have to be in the right place at the right time. And for me and Sean Dyche, we had a great relationship, and we still do to this day, because we were in the right place at the right time. And I've worked for lots of good managers, but it was just the wrong time for me. You know, it was the wrong time for him and me to connect. And for me, I learned so much from Burnley. Learned so much about how to be a proper a teammate, how to really care about the environment, and it was probably the only time, the most enjoyable time I had in my career, for sure, and it was because I stopped caring about myself. I became very, very selfless for the team, where for a long period of my football career I was very, very selfish, because it is a selfish profession, because you do have someone from Argentina, you do have somebody from Brazil come to take a shirt if you don't play well enough on a Saturday. And I got to a stage in my life where I was like, I'm just going to serve the team. I'm going to be a great team man, I'm going to be a great teammate, and I'm just going to be there for everybody else and try and get on with everybody and try and embrace this experience for what it is. And it paid me back tenfold. Everything I put into the team, I got back tenfold. And it was via, Sean Dyche being the leader of the environment, and it's an environment we want to try and replicate, if not make it better than Burnley and Fleetwood Town.